Good morning, folks. It is 5 a.m. GMT time. I'm starting recording on July 20th. Take a look at Forex. As you can see, we're making a pretty decent push down currently on pound New Zealand dollar. A lot of that's happened in the last hour or so. It looks like probably due to some interest rate statements that are coming out. I don't think there's been an official change yet. Just somebody saying that lower interest rates are going to help the economy. I have to check. I haven't looked at all the news yet, so perhaps that has changed already. But preferably, I'd like to see a push down to this 234.37, kind of an odd area, but looks like it is probably going to be a support area, and that'll also give us a push down into the 4-hour 55 and between 50% and 61.8% on the fib. So if price does manage to push back down there, look for support to be found in that area and for push back up, and of course target will be the recent highs. All right, pound CAD. Most of the pound crosses looking pretty much the same. We may see some horizontal support here, but I'm looking more in this area, see what happens there first. We've got it's MR1 and WS1 right in there, and that would give us a decent push below the 4-hour 55. So look for basically a push down here and to stop in this area and to re-break the 4-hour 55 and then come back up here. We did also break 2, so we may see a reaction off of the weekly pivot there. Pound odd, pretty much the same as the rest of the pound crosses, except here we're hitting a pretty good top, so this may not, we may still see pretty much the same reaction. Going to definitely look for price to come into this area. Again, that gives us a push below the 4-hour 55 to hit WS1, which has been horizontal support and resistance. Move back up, preferably above the midterm fib here, but a little bit more limited as we may have a hard time breaking above the super convergence zone here. Pound yen not looking too interesting to be tradable. Definitely need a pullback at least to the 4-hour 200, if not the daily 55. And of course, we are looking at a top area right now here. If we go back a couple weeks, we've got super convergence zone. So pretty limited trading on this pair, it looks like. And pound US dollar looks pretty much the same as well. If we fail to break back below the EMAs, we could see a trade-off there, but this is a pretty high traffic area in here. So better if we break the recent daily highs to the upside. This one's not really on my radar this week. All right, let's take a look at the Australian dollar versus the yen. We moved up a little bit last week. You can see the fib here is on the daily, fibbing for a sell, and I'm not interested really to trade this unless we have a pullback to the 4-hour 200 daily 55, which is going to coincide with 93. If we fail to break and maintain above that level, look for a short. Otherwise, I'll be looking for a break of 94.60 and then a pullback for a long. And AUD USD, we crept a little bit, accidentally hit pause there. So AUD USD, we crept a little bit lower than our previous lows here. Not much though, but I will be looking for a pullback to the 55 and basically this super convergence zone pivots there, pressure into that area, and then a move lower for a short. All right, New Zealand dollar versus US dollar, you can see where we're getting a little bit of New Zealand dollar strength, just like we were looking at with the pound versus New Zealand dollar. This is coming at the tail end of the Australian session, and it's a Japanese bank holiday today. So this move is pretty large, but it's on low volume. So I don't expect it to really blast through any major areas. I would like to see price come back up to at least a 50% fib, which is going to coincide with the 4-hour 55. Look for resistance to be found there, and then a short. Alternatively, if we do break that, we have another area in here, which may provide us with resistance. It's going to be WR1, and we have the 4-hour Dynafibs moving into that area, and it was kind of the pivot area over the last couple weeks before we broke the low in this area. So we may get a pullback, kind of a push past the 4-hour 55 into WR1. That's fine with me. I'll look for a short from there as well. All right, the US dollar versus the CAD. Of course, we need a pullback here to trade it, and I'll be looking for anywhere in this zone, basically from the little bit of a top we had in this area right here, which broke on the news last week. Anywhere from there to kind of where we meandered around, right around 127. And then, of course, we'll look for a long signal there. All right, US dollar versus the yen. We broke above the trend lines pretty early last week and had a spike almost back down to them. We do have the super convergence zones here, which are going to be the top end of the 4-hour Dynafibs. We have the 4-hour 55, monthly pivot, midterm fib, and the weekly pivot not too far above there. I'm definitely going to look for a long trade, a bounce off of this area. We may even get back down towards the bottom of the Dynafibs where we have the 4-hour 200. But I'll be looking to trade this long. I want a little bit longer term because I'll be looking for price to make it back up to 125.80 basically. All right, Euro USD, we broke a little bit lower last week, and you can see that we're currently sitting, or we're sitting on a possible bottom right now. We're looking at the daily charts. As we go back and look at the 4-hour, this could give us a pretty good place to turn around. And of course, we'd be looking for a pullback to basically 1.1 right in here. We've got a midterm fib, 4-hour 55, and that would be a push past the weekly pivot. We may see a move back up to touch the daily 55. To trade that, I'd like to see break back below 1.1, or we have the bounce from this area, or from 1.1 itself. And last but not least, we have Euro Yen. Looks to be still in its range, which is tightening a little bit, and we have, of course, all this mess right in here. So we could trade basically from the bottom here up, and from the top there short. Although I'm not very interested, it looks like there's plenty of other opportunities to trade this week. So I'll be leaving the Euro Yen alone. All right, pretty quick this week. That's going to be it for me. Everybody have a great week. Thanks.